Hello, today we'll be learning some principles of international law. In 1970, the UN General Assembly included under the principle of non-intervention the following paragraph. No state or group of states has the right to intervene directly or indirectly for any reason whatever in the internal or external affairs of any other state. Consequently, armed intervention and all other forms of interference or attempted threats against the personality of the state or against the political, economic, and cultural elements are in violation of the international law. This paragraph basically sums up the principle of non-intervention in the internal affairs of other states, which involves the right of every sovereign state to conduct its affairs without the outside interference. This principle is the mirror image of a state's right for sovereignty, political independence, and territorial integrity.
As Annika told us in her definition, this principle is better understood by no state or group of states can intervene directly or indirectly in the affairs of other states. This principle has three main characteristics that you need to know, being the first one related to force and the prohibition of the threat or use of it in international relations unless it's an act of self-defense. 2. The United Nations is not allowed to intervene in any matter which are essentially within the domestic jurisdiction of any state, which is also stated on the Article 2.7 in the UN Charter. However, if any situation happens that is comprehended inside the Chapter 7 entitled Peace Enforcement of the UN Charter also, the UN has permission to act. And third, international laws and human rights are a key aspect because no state can criticize the human rights established on other states.
An example of the principle of non-intervention is found in the Monroe Doctrine, developed in 1823 by President James Monroe of the United States, under the motto of America for the Americans, in which he argued that European powers had no right to intervene in any part of the continent. President James Monroe said in his State of the Nation that American policy in regard to Europe had been and will continue to be not to interfere in the internal concern of any of its powers. In that speech, he declared a non-intervention policy for European nations on the American continent. Paradoxically, the European doctrine was created to stop the intervention of the European imperial powers over the newly independent colonies, but it also paved the way for the new colonial intervention of the United States in the American continent.